Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome to the 2021 Startup Global Grand Finale of the She Loves Tech competition. My name is Lisa Salud, and I'm the General Partner of R3I Ventures, an organizing partner of She Loves Tech in Japan and Korea, and a proud community partner here in Luxembourg for Western Europe. On behalf of the entire She Loves Tech global team, our partners, and our founders, I would like to thank you all so much for joining us here virtually today. She Loves Tech is an international non-profit organization that is committed to closing the funding gap for women, aiming to unlock $1 billion in capital by 2030 for women-led and women-impact startups all over the world. As the world's largest startup competition for women in technology, over 8,000 startups have joined us internationally from more than 70 countries worldwide. And these winning startups have successfully raised more than $250 after their participation in this competition. There is no question, ladies and gentlemen, that She Loves Tech is making an impact. All of these achievements would not have been possible without the support of our global partners. And we would like to give thanks in particular to our platinum sponsors, Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, and UBS, and our official impact partner, Asia Development Bank Ventures and Teja Ventures. And a very big thanks to all of our gold sponsors and our official venture partners. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of work has gone into getting us here. And our sincerest thank you must go in particular to the founders who've worked tirelessly to get their organizations ready today. As a lifelong advocate for women in finance and women in deep tech entrepreneurship internationally, it is clear to me at She Loves Tech that together we are accelerating impact. These pioneers have had the pleasure of boot camps, know-how, knowledge, experts from across the world, and a plethora of technology support from all of our prestigious partners. Let's look at our partner today and see what's in store for you. We're going to go live straight to our pitch competition and hear pitches from our startup country winners. And finally, we will announce the startup competition winners. Today's hashtags are SheLovesTech21 and hashtag SheTechsCharge. Take your time to share your learnings from each of the founders, some screenshots of the event, and connect with your network on Twitter, Instagram, or your favorite social media sites using these hashtags. Please also engage in the chat function to cheer on your fellow founders and connect with each other so that we can really amplify the magnitude of this global network and support these businesses on the global stage. Today we have audience tuning in live from Bizibo, LinkedIn, and Huangdongjing in China. You'll notice today's broadcast is translatable and displayed through subtitles on your video display, so do turn them on if you need. Now, before we get kicked off, I just want to extend a huge heartfelt thank you to our founders, many of whom today are actually not pitching in their native language. A very good luck from everyone here at the She Loves Tech global team. Now on to some of the prizes at stake. Our startups today will competing for a global winning prize of $15,000 US equity free from our official venture partner, Teja Ventures. For the global top three, we have a winner and runners-up award today who are eligible for $12,000 US scholarship from Draper's University, and $25,000 US in Azure credits and high-level mentoring from our fantastic team at Microsoft. We'll also be announcing the special winner of a $10,000 equity-free cash prize from our impact partner, ADB Ventures. And apart from that, She Loves Tech is going to select 20 startups to invest in up to $100,000 US today. And for each and every founder putting their best foot forward, you'll also take home a surprise package of millions of dollars from our perk partners, from the world's leading vendors to help you reduce your burn rate and optimize the operations of your business. A special thank you goes out to Christine Molitor at R3I Ventures for putting it together. Now it's time to introduce our startups. Next, presenting to you the top 12 finalists who'll be pitching for everyone here in the grand finale of She Loves Tech Global. We have startups coming in from across all continents. MyProbes, Nodovu, Reach52, Predicta, Saib, Noodle Factory, No Global, Petotum, Cardmedic, Meridian, Neighborlytics, and Re3D. And before we get to the pitches, let's hear from Ahmed Mazari, President of Microsoft Asia, addressing his words of encouragement for our amazing startups.
Hello everyone, great to talk to you from Korea. Congratulations to all of you who made it to the finals of She Loves Tech. Some 4,000 startups applied. And what a tremendous joy and energy to see the challenge on technology, the opportunity to create success, and how women entrepreneurs can succeed. Good luck.
Fantastic.
Hello everyone.
I'm delighted to introduce you to our incredible judges for the day who'll be adjudicating these finalists and choosing our winners. And these judges are some of the most prestigious judges in the world who recognize the value of women impact businesses creating that $1 trillion economy. I'd like to join me in welcoming to the program Candina Weston, General Manager and APAC Business Strategy of Microsoft. Welcome, Candina. Welcome, Krish Janu, Head of Business Development and Partnerships for Asia Pacific and Europe from Draper's University. Welcome, Daniel Herson, Senior Fund Manager, Co-Founder of ADB Ventures. And welcome, Jamila Belabidi, Global Purchases Director of the Women Economic Empowerment of Procter & Gamble. Welcome, Jessica Huang, General Manager of Swire Properties. And welcome, Mei Tong, COO and Partner of Teja Ventures. Welcome, Pauline Tay, Executive Director, Head of Innovation Partnerships of Tech Connect Southeast Asia at UBS. And welcome, Pratina Amanka, APAC Leader of Cloud and AI Business Strategy at Microsoft. And finally, welcome, William Baubin, General Partner of SOSV. Each of these judges recognize that women-led startups deliver 2 times the revenue invested per dollar. They also know that the gender investment gap, noted by Boston Consulting Group and Mass Challenge, found that on average, women receive $1 million less than men, and only 2% of the world's venture capital goes to women. Each and every one of these judges have been hand-selected for their appreciation and belief that investing in women is not just a charity, but rather a $1 trillion market opportunity. Now for a quick introduction from each of our judges, I'd like to hand it over to, first of all, William Baubin, coming to you live from SOSV.
Hey, thanks. My name is William Baubin, General Partner at SOSV. We're a VC fund with 1.1 billion US under management. We're the most active early stage investor in the world, number 2 most active VC, and TechCrunch recently named us the number 5 most active investor in female-led startups in the world. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Hear that, ladies? There's a great opportunity for you here with SOSV. Now over to you, Candina Weston, General Manager and APAC Business Strategy of Microsoft.
Thanks, Lisa. My name is Candina Weston. I work for Microsoft, and my role is within the APAC region to look at how we're going to drive growth as a company, and also by investing in a lot of new emerging technologies and exciting business opportunities that are emerging globally, including startups. And we have a very strong, you may have seen Lindsay Ray McIntyre present yesterday. We have a very strong focus around diversity, and we're really invested in bringing women entrepreneurs forward and supporting that cause.
Fantastic. Wonderful to have you with us, Candina. Now the floor over to you, Krish Janau, Head of Business Development and Partnerships of Asia Pacific and Europe of Draper University. Welcome.
Hey all. Chris Janau, Head up BD and Partnerships for Draper University, famous Silicon Valley pre-accelerator, so early stage companies. Also have a small fund, and founded by Tim Draper, whose daughter spoke yesterday, I believe. Stroke. Yeah.
Fantastic. And as a fellow Aussie, I'd like to say welcome to this strong Australian contingent here today. Welcome Daniel Herson, Senior Fund Manager, co-founder of ADB Ventures.
So hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. I'm Daniel from ADB Ventures. We are an impact-focused early stage VC fund. It's the venture arm of Asian Development Bank. We invest in early stage companies who can have significant impact, particularly from a gender and climate angle in emerging Asia. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And welcome Jamila Belabidi, Global Purchases Director of the Women Economic Empowerment Team at Procter & Gamble.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm glad to be with you today. And indeed, at P&G, I actually design and lead the Women Economic Empowerment Program, which really means supporting women entrepreneurs across all our value chain, from supply to sales. So definitely looking for closing the gender gap in the technology space and everywhere. Thank you.
Wonderful to have you with us, Jamila. And welcome Jessica Huang, General Manager of Swire Properties.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, and evening. I'm Jessica Huang, based in Guangzhou, Chinese mainland. I'm the general manager of Taikoo Hui. I'm looking for a mixed-use development project, which including 2 Grade A office towers, our shopping mall, together with the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. It's my great honor to be the judge for She Loves Tech 2021 today, and I wish the event great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica, and it's our great honor to have you with us here at She Loves Tech Global Finale. Over to you, Mei Tong, COO and partner of Teja Ventures.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here. My name is Mei Tong. I'm COO and general partner of Teja Ventures. Our founding partner, also She Loves Tech partner, Virginia Tam. We started Teja Ventures Fund 1 to enable women entrepreneurs to be able to have access to capital. Also, for Teja Ventures Fund 2, we're focusing in health and wellness and the future of tech-enabled retail. Thank you very much, and good luck, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mei Tong, and I'm proud to share that Teja Ventures are our fellow Beyond Billion signatory, rallying more than $2 billion around the world collectively in our ecosystem for women founders. So great to have you with us, May. Now over to you, Pauline Tay, Executive Director, Head of Innovation Partnerships at Tech Connect Southeast Asia of UBS.
Hi everyone, I'm Pauline, and I represent UBS in a very new initiative called Tech Connect Southeast Asia. So as you know, UBS is one of the largest private banks around the world with more than 3 trillion assets under management globally. And particularly here in Southeast Asia, or rather APAC, we have seen a lot of successful tech founders and firms, and we want to also be helpful to them and to assist them along their growth trajectory. So happy, very, very honored to be here with She Loves Tech. It's so exciting that we have the 12 finalists chosen from 4,000 applicants, and very, very proud to be part of that journey to sort of provide you with assistance as you win this competition. Good luck to everyone.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the stage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the task of choosing this grand finale winner at She Loves Tech 2021 is going to be a very challenging competition to adjudicate. I'm sure you would agree. And the criteria today is really designed for women-led and women impact pioneers. Judges are going to assess these companies based on a VC acid test of 5 core criteria. First, the market opportunity, the size of the market and the growth of that market. 2, the quality of the team. 3, the product and its innovation. 4, its traction. And 5, its growth and scalability. Now today, I'm going to take you on a journey across 5 continents, from Africa to Western Europe, Australia, the Americas, and the Asia Pacific. You're going to meet founders who are pioneering impact companies and who are going to present to you their life's work in only 3 minutes. Then our judges are going to have 5 minutes to ask clarifying questions to help them decide who really has what it takes to go global and scale their impact. Are you ready to get started? Let's start with the first contestant of today. Now, there's no denying that COVID-19 has shone a light on the importance of a healthy lifestyle for us all. And when I landed in Luxembourg, I needed access to testing, but I didn't want to go to the hospital or a diagnostic center. MyProbes came to save the day with their pharmaco and nutrigenomics market proposition. I'd like to hand over to Nina. Nina, take it away.
Thanks, Lisa. Let me just share my screen. Okay, great. So hi, everyone. I'm Nina. I am the CEO and co-founder of MyProbes. MyProbes helps health-curious people own their personal health without going to the doctor. People want personalized health guidance, but the only way to get this right now is to go to the doctor, which is time-consuming and expensive. And doctors can order a test, but it only gives you a health snapshot of how you're doing that day. And people want more. So I set out to build something better. And I created Medo. It's an at-home health diagnostic. All you need is our kit. You can test anywhere and you can get your results in minutes. We've launched the product. We're already engaging customers. We're shipping our testing kits. Our analysis app is running and our health score algorithm is live. So with Medo, you can optimize your everyday habits for better health results. Using just your urine, you can check your nutrient levels, measure inflammation, analyze your health, and get a personalized grocery list. It's really easy. You just open a Medo card and you're ready to test. Take it with you to the bathroom and capture urine on the 10 testing pads at the bottom. You let it react for 2 minutes and then you take a photo. You upload the photo to us and then we do all of the analysis in the cloud. And then we can give you your results straight to your phone right away so you can track your progress over time. Right now we measure 10 biomarkers for 6 health parameters, but this is only the beginning. There are over 2,000 biomarkers in urine, and we can add and expand our card in the future. Our secret sauce is that we provide best-in-class health analytics without the doctor and without the lab. Medo collects data over 10 biomarkers, and then we collect data weekly so that we could generate a very accurate data set for each customer. Then our algorithms take this accurate data and we translate it into digestible scores across general health, immunity, liver health, kidney health, nutrition, and hydration. And as this data set grows, early detection of health issues becomes possible. So our total addressable market is people interested in fitness, wellness, and health. We estimate this to be 97 million people globally in English-speaking regions, and this gives us a 15 billion market share. We sell Medo as a consumer product on a subscription basis, and we're growing our customer base through PR, referrals, and partnerships. Since we launched Medo this summer, we've been featured in several national German newspapers and websites, and we've won 3 awards. We're the best team to build this because we're a scientifically strong team with over 15 years of diagnostics experience. Right now, we're looking to raise a seed round to accelerate us into the growth stage. It's an investment opportunity of 1.2 million to hire key team members, improve our product, and boost marketing. So if you want to learn more, you can check us out at getmedo.com and take the first step to owning your personal health. You're muted, Lisa.
Thank you, Nina. And I'd like to now shine a special spotlight to Pratima Amanka, our Microsoft partner and judge today. Over to you, Pratima.
Thank you, Lisa, and thanks, Nina, for the intro. Help me understand a little bit more about how you're thinking of scalability and what your long-term plans where that entire piece is concerned. Are you looking at different geographies?
Yeah, so right now we launched in Germany and in the DACH region. So in 2022, we're planning to expand to 3 more countries in Europe, and into 2023, we'll also be expanding through Europe. Then we'll make the jump into, this is up in the air, whether we go to the US or potentially we go to Asia now that we have all of these good connections through She Loves Tech.
Fantastic. More questions from the floor. Can I call on you, William?
Yeah, sure, but I didn't raise my hand. So quick question. So in terms of the cost basis, what is the cost structure? And for countries and regions where subscription doesn't really work, have you experimented with other models? For example, in Asia, it's very difficult to do subscription because there's no auto deduct on credit cards in well, most of the world.
Yeah, so we have been launching partnerships with supplement companies and meal replacement shake companies where they've been bundling our kit with their product. And then this has been just a one-time kit. So this has been an opportunity for us to get more like marketing exposure, get our product in the hands of new customers without doing a subscription. So just doing it as a one-time kit. Ultimately, we would like to lead them into being a customer of ours and subscribing. But we actually have this problem as well in Germany. Data protection and subscribing is not as popular as it is in the United States. And so we do see that people return and buy one-time kits for the full price instead of going a little bit cheaper in the subscription. And that seems to be just the way the Germans like to prefer it, but it works out for us. If you want to pay more, we'll take it.
Thanks, William. And over to you, Candina.
Hi, thank you. This is amazing. I'm an avid user of health apps, so it's very cool to see. I was just wondering, in terms of the output, when I understand that it's more oriented around preventative care, but what is the next step in the journey for the consumer? And when they get personalized shopping lists, is that also personalized per country? And what next? What next after that? What do they do with their data?
Yeah, so we give you 6 scores, so general health, liver health, kidney health, nutrition, immunity, and hydration. And then we give you some do's and don'ts. So eat this, don't do that. And then what we're partnering with our partners that we have these partnerships that we're developing, we're starting to make a referral engine where, like, based on your urine data, this product from this person is going to be personalized for you. And we'll be doing that in specific cities, in specific countries. And so this is why we're only going to be trying to expand to like 3 countries in Europe next year, because we need to get like on the ground and building those relationships. And then next it could go into potentially like personalized vitamins and getting really specific for each person.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Candina. And Jamila, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, congratulations, Nina. And my question will be more about, you might most likely have done benchmarking. Are there any similar type of offering out there? And if so, what would you say is your point of superiority versus the other available products?
Yeah, so of course we have competitors, which is a great sign. We're glad we're not the first one out there. There are 2 competitors that are in the US. We are one of 2 in Germany, and then there are 2 others, one in the UK and one another one in the US. So everyone's doing something a little bit different. 2 companies, Healthy.io and Scanwell, they're focused on urinary tract infection and chronic kidney disease detection. We can do the same thing with our product, but you need medical device authorization, and this takes like a little bit of a longer process. We're in the wellness space. There are 2 companies in the US called Vivu and Vessel who are also doing this. They're focused purely on nutrition, while we're focused more on this preventative care space. So our edge here is our health analytics, and then taking that data into proactive actions that you can take now that's going to help you age well into the future.
And one last question, over to you, Daniel.
Thank you, Nina, by the way, for a great presentation pitch. I was just wondering a little bit around the regulatory environment for biomarker diagnostics and how it might differ from different countries and how far you can go in terms of making it a medical tool.
Yeah, so becoming a medical tool it's in our product plan. We're planning to do this next year. It just does take a while. In Europe, being a medical device would be the best opportunity for us, because not only can we give better recommendations.
I have to wrap it up there. Sorry, Nina. Sorry, your time is up. Thank you so much. Judges, please do take your questions offline, and the founders are available for live Q&A after the pitches. Now, over to the continent of Africa. Now, did you know that when measured by monetary values, Africa's tech scene in comparison to Shenzhen or Silicon Valley standards is not quite there yet? However, when you look at volumes and year-over-year expansion in venture capital, startup formation and tech hubs, it's truly now one of the fastest growing tech markets in the world. Today, we welcome Radhika and her company Nodovu, a micro investment platform that provides democratized access for the retail investor to the global financial markets, a challenge today that represents an $85 billion market opportunity. Over to you, Radhika.
Thanks, Lisa. I've just shared my screen, so I believe you can see it, so I'll get started. We're Nodovu, and we're building a wealth front for Africa. When I moved back to Kenya, I was curious to understand how people were investing their savings. I was surprised to find that there is currently $85 billion sitting in African cash accounts. And this is a problem because African countries have high rates of inflation. So we ran a survey to understand why and learned three key things. People lack access to investment options. People don't know where to start because they lack education and advice. And the current investment process is complicated. So Nodovu is an investment platform that provides access to financial markets, both local and globally. And how does it work? We ask you a series of questions to understand what is your ability to take risk. Our algorithm then provides each customer with a unique investment strategy. They invest and start earning a return. Our serviceable market across sub-Saharan Africa is $8.5 billion, of which we plan to acquire $1.7 billion in 5 years. We have set up shop in Kenya to begin. So our target customers, they're millennials. There's 450 across the sub-Saharan Africa continent. Our empirical data shows that our early adopters are between the ages of 26 to 35 and initially invest $3,000. So how do we make money? We have 3 revenue streams. Our customers pay us an assets under management fee. Our fund managers pay us a commission for every dollar that gets invested through our platform. And because our users are investing in USD, we earn a spread on every dollar that's converted. In terms of traction, we launched a fully tech-enabled solution in August this year. And to date, we have $3.7 million of investment moving through our pipeline with a really healthy pipeline coming on. Again, other types of traction, we are regulated by the equivalent of Kenya's SEC. With all our partnerships signed today, we have 3 million potential customers we can target. To grow, we'll use growth hacking strategies as offering our solution as an employee perk and referral strategies. But our vision really is to become the investment platform on the continent. And we look to do that by currently running 4 pilots with B2Bs. And we've also signed an institution partner that has 11 million customers across the East Africa region, which will allow us to scale very quickly within the next year. So meet our team. Gianpaolo is a serial entrepreneur. He's our CTO. He's built and exited digital products. Ro is our Chief Commercial Officer, who launched the first mobile-based government bond whilst working at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, which was oversubscribed. My name is Radhika, and I'm the CEO. I've spent 15 years at BlackRock advising clients how to invest and managed a book of $3 billion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Radhika. And now over to our esteemed judges. All right, the first question comes to you today from Pratima at Microsoft.
Hi, Radhika. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your presentation. Are you looking at other countries? Because this looks very specific to Africa, right? Or are you able to go to other countries?
Yeah, so we've started our licensing applications in Rwanda and Tanzania. So by Q2 2022, we'll be in 2 regions. And now we're doing analysis around which other regions other than the African continent can we expand to. Our product is global. As long as we don't have any licensing challenges, it will be an easy expansion to different regions.
Okay, thank you.
And now over to you, William Balbeen of SOSV.
Can you talk about the education that you have to bring to the to your potential clients or existing clients? What's the level of sophistication? And
yeah, no, brilliant. So Firstly, our product is a robo-advisor. So initially we help provide customized advice by asking a series of simple questions and giving them, the user, the understanding of the type of risk they should be running in their portfolio. We've also set up partnerships with corporations where we offer a solution as an employee perk, and we do webinars to really educate the middle income upwards on how they should be thinking about investment. Eventually, we will move through the masses, but that requires significantly more education. So our key focus right now is middle income, and it's webinars, partnering with other financial influencers in the market to really bring around education.
Fantastic. Thank you, William. Thank you, Radhika. Over to you, Jamila.
Thank you. Hi, Radhika. One question regarding barriers, right? So I guess one of the ones you mentioned is education. Would as well culture or, be one? How is, the behavior, how is the culture over there as it comes to investment?
Yeah, so I was actually surprised to find that Africans are very good at saving, and especially women, which is great, but they just don't have the options. So to date, what we found is that people have a lot of savings, they're keen to invest, they just don't know where to get started. And those are the three things that we're dealing with. And as one other key part of education is that Africans also have tendencies to do gambling. So they love investing in crypto and they love investing in sports betting. They think it's investing, but it's not. And really for us, the focus here is to first target the early adopters and get them on board. And then our efforts are being rolled out to really educate the benefits of investing rather than gambling, essentially. And so we're trying to make that impact and improving the education around that space.
Thanks, Radhika, and over to you, Mei Tong of Tasia Ventures.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the presentation. I have a question about how your product differentiates from existing bank product offerings locally. I do understand for middle class customers, they have their own access to existing bank relationship with investment options. I just wonder how your product differentiate from the existing alternatives. Thank you.
Yeah, so there are banks here, but in order to invest with them, you need large amounts of money. So we're talking about $10,000 to get started. Our solution, you can invest as little as $50,000. You can be any customer from different regions. You don't have to be only located in Kenya, which makes a huge difference because we've managed to work around AML KYC. And then lastly, when you go to a bank, you get a relationship advisor, but we actually have taken the robo-advisory route, which is all digital. So someone with very little understanding can get started with as little as $50. And that really is democratizing access to financial markets across the region.
Fantastic. And time for one last question. Thanks, Candina.
Hi there. I loved your presentation, by the way. I thought you covered all of the different aspects really well. So thank you very much. I was just wondering, what sort of early feedback are you getting from your consumers, and how would you adjust the offering based on that?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So to date, we've seen that a lot of our early adopters are actually investing large amounts of money. $3,000 across the African continent is a lot. And that simply comes in because they've been saving for such a long time that they haven't had any investment options to actually invest it in. Now we see that as we expand across different customer segments, that will come down. And now we're thinking of different ways of how can we integrate into existing user journeys, like for example, a neobank or a health insurance company, where we can start targeting small micro investments, almost like a grab across in Asia, essentially, and really now target a new segment. So that's a really exciting space for us at the moment to really figure out what's the best way to do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Candina. Thanks, Radhika. And now we're going to travel all the way back to Asia, which is now the world's second largest healthcare market in the world, valued at $133 billion, where we're all working really hard to tackle the challenges of the global pandemic, chronic disease, and the burdens of an aging population. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage Lee Jen Lee, representing Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Her company, Reach 52, is an offline first digital platform training women in underserved rural communities across essential healthcare support and affordable products. Over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Dijan. I'm the CEO of Reach 52. 52% of the world cannot access healthcare. Our mission is to reach these underserved communities powered by our mobile app. We train a network of local agents and health workers to use our app. They collect data on the residents' health needs and run targeted health campaigns. Agents also order and manage the distribution of products such as medicines, soap, sanitizers, shampoo, and micro-insurance policies. Through the use of our platform, we have scaled user growth 10 times in the past 12 months, reaching more than 800,000 users. Of the 70% of our beneficiaries are female, we have 13 growth partners across our 5 markets: India, Indonesia, Philippines, Cambodia, and Kenya. We have recruited over... Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Your screen is not full screen and we can see all of your notes.
Oh, okay. 1 second, please.
No problem. Judges, I'll ask you to start again, Lee Jen, and I'll ask the judges to restart the clock. How are you going?
Can you see my screen?
Nope, still the same one. You might want to stop sharing and reshare again.
Oh, okay, let me try that.
Try to reshare.
Yeah, 1 second, please.
All right, Lee Jen, I'm going to move to the next contestant and
yeah,
I'll come back to you, okay?
Yeah, sorry.
No problem at all. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to travel to Israel, where we are joined by PredictaMed. Shlomit is on a mission to solve the puzzle of undiagnosed autoimmune disease, one of the biggest pains of both healthcare systems and patients. Shlomit, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So, hi everyone. I have a riddle for you. What do 50 million Americans have to do with 4 doctors and 4 years? I know it's a hard one, so let me give you a hint.
My first symptom was at birth. Came out with an allergic reaction. Had problems until a time I didn't have teeth come in properly. Panic attacks at 12. 15 is when I finally started saying there's something wrong. And I'm thinking and pointing to my gut. And it was from 15 to 35 that the journey continued to try and get an answer to what was happening to me.
After 35 long years, Jennifer found that she was suffering all these years from an undiagnosed celiac disease. And this is unfortunately the story of 50 million Americans who suffer from autoimmune diseases. It takes these patients more than 4 doctors and at least 4 years to get a correct diagnosis. And beside the fact that these patients are going through a frustrating journey, billions of dollars are spent by the healthcare system. As we see the problem, when you go to your PCP and tell them that you have a migraine, you will probably get a pill. But the chances that during these 5 minutes of a visit, you'll have time to review all your medical history is really low. And that's why they tend to miss these diseases for many, many years. Hi, my name is Shlomit. I'm the co-founder and CEO of PredictaMed, and we're connecting the dots of undiagnosed autoimmune diseases. We have built the first decision support platform for early detection of autoimmune diseases, and our solution is based on 4 steps. We aggregate data from sources like EMR and claims. We enrich it and analyze it using our deep learning engine. We identify which patients are at risk for having an underlying autoimmune disease, and we alert the primary care physician and enable him to intervene much earlier. I have an amazing team of experts. My co-founder and CTO, Benny Gates, has been leading AI teams in the past 25 years. He's been working in 2 startups that were acquired and also for Intel and Samsung. For me, this is my second startup. The first one was in the field of melanoma detection. And after that, I joined Mazor Robotics, where I've been working in the past 6 years in the innovation department. We have 5 medical advisors. Some of them are world-renowned KOLs in the field of autoimmune diseases. And we have top leading investors, such as Professor Moshe Shoam, who is the founder of Mazor Robotics, the company which I've been working for, and Yossi Matias, who is an executive from Google Israel. I'm glad to announce that we partnered with the second largest Israeli HMO, and to date we analyzed more than 4 million patients' records. And our solution is available for the next autoimmune diseases in the field of gastro, rheumatology, and neurology. We have very promising results. We actually show that we can reduce the diagnostic process by up to 4 years. We launched the company in January 2020, submitted few patents, raised the pre-seed funding of $1.5 million, and now we're raising a proper seed round to support our pilots in the US and to change the lives of millions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shlomit. Now, I'm sure you would all agree that personalized medicine is the greatest opportunity of our time. I'm going to hand over to our esteemed judges. And Pratima, let's start with you.
Thank you. And incidentally, Shlomit, I lead the work that we do with cloud and artificial intelligence strategy for Microsoft. So I'm very keen to know, how do you get over the problem of having enough data to be able to make predictive and analytics happen? How do you collect data?
So that's a great question. And to date, we raise data through partnerships. So as I mentioned, we are partnered with the second largest Israeli HMO that provided us with 2.5 million patients' records. And Maccabi's data is one of the most organized and longitudinal data sets worldwide, which is a very special opportunity to work with. And also we partner with a US-based company that provided us with US-based US claims. And now we have in the pipeline other partnerships in the US that would provide us additional data sets. So that's mainly how we get it. Thank you for the question.
Excellent. And I'd now like to hand over to you, Pauline Tay at UBS.
Hi, Shlomit. Thank you very much. That was a really excellent presentation. I think the same question we asked one of the previous teams is about regulation, right? I mean, this is definitely an area that falls into the clinical diagnostic field. How has it been for you? I guess you started with the US, where clinicians, have they started to recognize data from past analysis, predictive analysis, and relate that to actual clinical diagnosis? So what would be the trajectory for you and the company in terms of clearing, like FDA and other regulatory authorities?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and thanks for asking that. So basically, the way we are building our product is as a decision support platform, meaning that we are not doing a diagnostics. We are just advising the primary care physician by showing them a possibility or probability for a patient to have an underlying autoimmune disease. So we're not saying that for sure these patients have a disease. We're not doing diagnostics. And that's why eventually at this stage, we do not need an FDA or a CE approval. Looking into the future, we do plan to include some interventional recommendations and that would require regulatory approval, but there is still a way until we get there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pauline. And over to you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. I did have a question on data as well, but yeah, just curious of what the business model is. So you identify that somebody potentially has autoimmune disease, then what?
Yes, so we are alerting the primary care physicians. Currently, we integrate with the EMR, which is the electronic medical record software that they use on a daily basis. So our tool is a plugin into these EMR systems. And by that, the primary care physicians can start the intervention process. So imagine that you go to a doctor and we recognize that you have an underlying autoimmune disease. We raise a flag for your PCP, and then he can ask you additional questions to verify if you have autoimmune disease or send you to specific lab work, for example, or to a specific specialist. And then by that, we would actually show him what's the right path to navigate the patient. And by that, we would help him to shorten the diagnostic process, and we can save a lot of unnecessary visits, unnecessary medications, hospitalizations. We also prevent the deterioration of the disease. For example, in some of the diseases, let's take psoriatic arthritis, for example. When the disease deteriorates, there is a permanent damage to the joints. And then you can have surgeries, a knee replacement or hip replacement. So by using Predict AI, we can actually prevent the deterioration. And the business model is divided by two. We are selling both to providers and to payers. And we are selling eventually a SaaS licensing model.
And time for one last question. Over to you, Daniel.
I keep it very brief. Great presentation, by the way. How transferable are the learnings, the algorithms, to other populations with different genetics and diets? Or you have to recreate it in every place?
So that's a great question. Our algorithms always need to adjust by the population. For example, now that we are entering the US population, there are special subpopulations that we adjust the algorithms to fit. So, and also you spoke about genetics, so we are about to include genetics and proteomics as well to the algorithms. So we will take it into consideration as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you, Shlomit. And now we're going to go back to our presentation from Lee Jen Lee, representing Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia.
Hi, thank you. Sorry for the distracting presentation earlier. Can you see my screen properly?
Yes, it's just not quite fitting to screen.
Oh.
Yeah, can you adjust that?
Okay.
It's oversized.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, does this work?
Much better. Thank you so
great.
much.
Hi. So 52% of the world cannot access healthcare. Our solution is to train a network of local agents and health workers on our tech platform. So these agents collect data on health needs and run targeted health campaigns. Our agents order and manage the distribution of private sector products into the communities, and these include medicines, consumer health products, as well as microinsurance policies. We have grown 10 times our user growth in the past year, reaching almost 800,000 users, and of this, 70% of beneficiaries are actually female. We have 13 growth partners across our 5 countries: Indonesia, Philippines, Kenya, Cambodia, as well as Philippines. And we have a field force of 5,500 agents, of which 95% are women, and we are looking to grow to 10,000 in the next 6 to 12 months. We grow our ecosystem partnerships through 20 over partners. We have 7,500 products in our marketplace, and $2.10 are saved. So this translates to a cost savings of $2.10 for every $1 that our user actually spends. We are powered by our tech. Our agent network connects users. They sign up our users, collect health needs. They learn and have e-learning modules as well as upskilling on the platform. They are able to run targeted health campaigns and order and deliver products for our users. We are looking to build a super app platform, and we have a lot of other new features that we are going to build, including patient re-engagement and e-wallets, curated job opportunities, as well as targeted services and supply chain as well as logistics management modules. Our business model is mainly through our B2B services and campaigns. These are monthly subscriptions to services. We also have a B2C marketplace whereby we collect delivery fees or commissions to get affordable and accessible health services to the community needs. These are all targeted and based on their unique profiles. As you can see here, these are some of examples of our key clients and partners that we have signed contracts with. With Johnson & Johnson, for example, we have run health worker education campaigns, specifically around COVID-19 education and the importance of vaccinations, training health workers in the Philippines. We have large market opportunities. I think overall, almost 3.8 billion of funding come from social impact and sustainability programs from our partners. And there's almost 115 billion out-of-pocket expenditure spent on pharma and consumer health in emerging market opportunities. And this is where Reach 52 will stand to actually be able to benefit from it. We are looking to raise a Series A round, $5 million, and reaching 2 million users to grow our revenue, our growth business and product. We've raised about 1.45 million to date, and we are looking to raise with an option of 2.5 million more. So we hope that you'll be able to support us on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to cast our first question to our cloud and data specialist, Pratima. Pratima, in healthcare today, the key gold nugget here is data. Can I start the first question with you?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thanks again. Lijen, very nice to see this. Could I ask you whether your vision for your company is something like a social entrepreneurship, or is it going to be a money-making entrepreneurship?
We are a social impact company at heart. So we will want to also make revenues. Our revenues are about $1 million for 2021 so far in Singapore dollars. But ultimately, what we want to do is to empower women within the community to be able to have meaningful employment through being agents collecting the health data. But of course, data would be at the forefront of our strategy. So collecting accurate data from the community, understanding their healthcare needs. For example, in each village, what is the healthcare profile? What kind of chronic conditions do they have? What sort of medication or insurance needs do they have? And we try to plug this gap by understanding that in the very first place.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. And now over to you, Candina.
Hi, I wanted to say to start with, well done recovering from before.
I got a second chance, so it's great.
It would have been so nerve-wracking, and you were so cool, calm, and collected. I don't think I would have been that cool, calm, and collected.
Thank you.
So I'd love if you could tell us a little bit more about your team and how you are going to scale this out, the type of people you're bringing on.
So we have a very passionate senior management team. So for myself, I come from a healthcare background. I worked with Fullerton Health. I also have a banking and finance background and work with government agencies as well. So quite a large range of skill sets. My CEO and founder, he himself is someone that, really believes in healthcare access. He comes from a healthcare consulting background, and he was based in Philippines for 5 years. So Philippines was the very first country that we started in. So overall, our team is 50 people to date. We hired, we grew by 20% just in 2021. So growing very fast. In terms of scalability, we entered 2 countries this year, Indonesia as well as Kenya. Last year, we entered India. So I think right now we are looking at consolidating and really going deep into these 5 countries rather than spread ourselves too thin. The app itself is quite scalable because, we will localize it to the different language requirements of each country. And our local team would be the ones driving it. But we grow quickly through partnering with growth partners. And growth partners, we actually mean local NGOs, because the local NGOs would have a wide range of knowledge, and they would be very entrenched in the communities. They would have already gained the trust. So Reach 52 will come on to partner them and then together work with them to better understand the residents' needs and then provide these services.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's great.
No problem.
Thanks, Candida. Thanks, Lijen. Over to you, Pauline Tay at UBS.
Hi, Lijen. That was
Pauline.
really, very encouraging. I think I do have one question though, and I think it's probably cultural related. I think perhaps many of the judges here might not understand, because this is actually just it's almost like a concierge service, right? And the success of your app or the business plan works only if you have the agents continuously signing up, to either provide the services, the delivery, or in the end, the actual healthcare, the clinical support. How does your team intend to continue signing up these partners? Because at the end of the day, you actually need strong partners to deliver, the healthcare solutions, and not just sort of a concierge service, right?
Yeah, I think definitely this is a great point. Re-engagements is something that is at the forefront of our strategy. So how do we, after the first touch of understanding a resident's need, continue to engage them and provide value-added services to them? So what happens with us is that we go into a community, we will, do a very deep profiling, and then we try to plug it in with the B2B side. So for example, Pfizer is one of our repeated clients. Today they want to run a dengue awareness program. Tomorrow they want to run a COVID-19 vaccination and awareness program. So then we'll go back to the communities, and then we are able to run it more target, like which are the areas that face more dengue problems, which are the areas that have higher incidence of diabetes or hypertension, and then follow up with the services or as well as the products. So it's a very conscious way that we want to go back and reach out to them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Li Jen.
Thank you, Li Jen. And there's no question, it looks like you are making an impact across Southeast Asia. Congratulations.
Very proud of it. Thank you.
Wonderful. I'd now like to move to South Korea, and I'm the very proud partner of South Korea, where we took She Loves Tech for the first time into this market. There was less than 55 female founders actually registered in PitchBook. Can you believe it? And I'm very, very proud to introduce you today to Jiwon Park. Jiwon Park is the CEO of Saib Co. Over to you, Jiwon.
Thank you, Risa. Saib flips the word bias, symbolizing our mission to overturn the negative bias around sexuality. We are a femtech company designing a high-quality sexual wellness product. Female sexuality is still a taboo in many countries even today, and women feel uncomfortable talking about it. More than 1 million STIs are acquired daily, and nearly half of the pregnancies are unintended. The current market is driven by male consumers pushing women further away, and most products contain harmful chemicals risking women's health. Saib is changing all of this. Our products are high quality, safe, female-focused, shame-free, and discreet. We also provide campaigns to empower women. In 2018, we first launched carcinogen-free natural condoms and added vegan and organic certified feminine wash and lubricants. We enable a safe and discreet shopping experience for women and provide educational content for them. We are disrupting the male-dominated industry with a female-first mindset. Let me tell you what's unique about us compared to others. We only use healthy ingredients and even developed and patented our own formula enhancing female reproductive and urinary health. Our award-winning design provides women-desired experience, and we devote a portion of our proceeds to promote gender equality and female empowerment. All our products are made in Korea with rigorous R&D and quality control. We sell directly to consumers through our e-commerce, as well as wholesaling them to our retail partners. We ship to over 30 countries and analyze this data to prioritize our target market. Health and wellness market is over $3 trillion industry, and sexual wellness market is expected to double over the next 5 years to reach $125 billion. In more than 10,000 brick-and-mortar stores across Korea, we sold over 790,000 products worth $3.7 million. From contraceptives to female hygiene and vaginal health, we are adding fertility care and STI prevention products to our portfolio and target $3.9 million in revenue by 2023. We are a team of millennials and Gen Z women, just like our consumers. I'm a brand and design expert backed by a team of extraordinary advisors and research partners. We are currently raising and looking for partnerships to continue our product innovation, global expansion, and R&D for future products. Sexual wellness is an important part of healthy lifestyle, and we are not afraid to talk about it from a female perspective. I'm Jiwon Park, CEO and founder of Saib Co. We provide sexual wellness for her, by her, because we care what she puts inside her body. Thank you.
Thank you, Jiwon, and I am really delighted to welcome you here today and to ask the first judge, Candina, for your question.
Congratulations, and thank you so much for doing this. I think it's amazing that you're bold in having this conversation. So, congratulations. I'm grateful that somebody like you is stepping up and doing this. I understand, to your point in regard to having the conversation and potentially people being sensitive to the conversation. Given you're expanding into multiple countries, how are you thinking about looking into research in terms of how those countries are, like what's acceptable, and how do you tailor your offering based around that?
So the localization has been a big challenge for us, like you mentioned, because every culture is different. So we first launched in South Korea, and here it is very patriarchal and conservative compared to the Western part of the world. So it was challenging for us to even running a business in here. We are looking into expanding into the market that is situation is a little bit better than us. So we are looking into like a US and European market to begin with, but we are not just looking into those markets. Like we have like a large demands coming from like Asian market as well. And I know it will be challenging to launch it there, and even with the different cultural restrictions and and things like that. And we know it is going to be challenging. So that's why like we are looking for a proper local partner to work with and help us localize our brand appropriately.
Great. Good luck.
Jamila, it sounds like a great opportunity for P&G. I'm going to hand over now to Jessica at Swire.
Hi, first of all, thank you for your presentation. I have a question as echo to the first question that here has some cultural difference when you want to promote this in different countries. While I also noticed that most of your distribution channel is basically online. So apart from online, do you think this is really an effective way that doing online rather than offline? Thank you.
Well, when we first launched in South Korea, like we primarily focusing on expanding our product to the offline retailers, because that was the habit that our Korean consumers are used to. But then, like after 2 years, like we started to expand into the D2C e-commerce model, and partially thanks to COVID, it has been working really well. And for the global expansion, we are focusing on to the e-commerce D2C global site primarily for now, because our products are classified as a medical device or OTC product. There are so many regulatory restrictions to properly enter each market. And all those like permits, regulations, and all those things requires long time and money. And we didn't want to go through all that without knowing that we can succeed in each market. So that's why we launched the global cross-border e-commerce. So we shipped directly from Korea to over 30 countries, and we are using those data for the market validation. So once we know we have enough traction on each in specific market, then we will go through proper channel to get all the like approvals and permit and things like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're delighted to house Saib Co at our House of MedTech in Luxembourg, supporting their accelerated market entry into both Europe and the US. Over to you, Candina. Or is your hand still up? I'll hand it back to May, if I may.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm very excited to see your product to gain access to Korean market. I think this is a particular country I work in, and I find out that it does need to empower females' voice in many across many industries. Just one question on go-to-market. So how you have access to the voice of your local users, how you have access to their voice and what they need. Is there a way you gain consumer feedback for your product?
Yeah, when we first launched the product, I knew that it's going to be challenging to get feedbacks from our consumers, because it's very delicate area, and like it is really hard to communicate like publicly. But once we launched the product and brand, and we are gaining a group of loyal consumers who are really enthusiastic about our product, and they have been actively involved in our product development and just brand expansion, because like they care about our product and they really resonate with our brand mission, and so we've been gaining lots of feedback from them.
Thank you, Jiwon. Thank you so much to our judges.
Thank you.
Now, I am an academic at Singapore Management University and IE Business School teaching digital transformation and automation. And this next company speaks to my heart. I'm very proud to welcome to the stage Yvonne from Singapore. Her company, Noodle Factory, is an edtech platform that provides AI-powered virtual assistants and automation to educators and their students. Over to you.
Thank you, Lisa. Teachers have always been heroes. Now we can make them superheroes. Let me show you how. It's hard to be an educator. Teachers are burnt out, overworked, and underpaid. They work an average of 52 hours a week. That's much more than their counterparts in professions requiring similar qualifications. And yet, they earn at least 14% less. It's no wonder that their work-life balance and mental health are impacted. But we also know that teachers are a dedicated bunch. Most of them do what they do because they genuinely care about their students. We've been there ourselves. Having spent the past 12 years in adult education, we initially created this platform to solve our own workload challenges, but soon realized that this is something that could benefit all educators. So I'd like to introduce Walter. Walter is an AI-powered teaching assistant which augments what teachers do. Those time-consuming yet necessary tasks like grading, creating assessments, and tutoring can now be automated using our AI engine. Teachers can be more effective and get their weekends and late nights back. Here's how it works. What you're looking at is a teacher setting up the platform, simply by dropping in existing textbooks, course notes, lesson plans, basically teaching material that they already have, and literally in minutes, there's a knowledge base and assessments that students can start to engage with. What is great about the student experience is that the student works on the assessment and gets immediate feedback, something that's not possible if the teacher had to do it manually. And then the student also receives personalized tutoring in areas where he needed help. In short, what our AI engine provides is that it empowers teachers to provide differentiated instruction according to different student needs instantly. In fact, some of the schools we've worked with has estimated time savings of over 120 hours per teacher per year. Our immediate target market is in higher and secondary education, as well as corporate, and this alone is a $57 billion market opportunity. Our business model is a B2B SaaS. We have excellent teacher feedback, and students love the platform because it's intuitive, and more importantly, they gain confidence with the practice and feedback they get on the platform. We have also recently raised our seed funding round of $500,000 US. With our pilot program, we have driven over 150% growth in our user base over the past 6 months. We are on track to reach 100,000 MRR by the end of 2022. Over 75% of teachers, which are our primary users, are women. Similarly, we have built a diverse team who understand and keep the needs of teachers in mind as we continue to develop our platform. Now remember, educators are already heroes. Let's make them superheroes together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. And I'd like to now draw our first question over to you, Jessica.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I think education is really a hot topic, especially in East Asia and in China. So apart from the formal education received from school, that I think all this online learning is very essential too. But as you might know that recently Chinese mainland has banned a lot of online educations apart from the formal education. Do you have any tactics to tackle this problem? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so currently we are B2B and our initial outreach has been to schools directly. However, we have also started pilots with a few tuition centers who put their curriculum and let their students work on it. We do have plans in the longer term to really turn it into a B2C platform where individuals can actually get on the platform, share their knowledge, and even kind of sell it like a course on Coursera. So that's one option. And then on top of that, also to really make it much more self-service. So a lot of different knowledge players can actually get on the platform as well.
Thank you.
Lisa, you're on mute, I think.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. And now over to you, William.
Yeah, could you talk a little bit about your engagement with the teachers, and after they use your tool to help them assist, how does their engagement with their students improve?
Currently, we are fairly high touch. It's somewhat intentional because we're using it also to really kind of develop the platform and evolve it further. So when we reach out to the schools, we often reach out to the faculty members. We work very closely with them from the start. So customer success is a key part and a big part of our team that works closely with them throughout the pilots or the terms of the contract. The initial feedback has been very promising. One of the things is that, we got, like earlier, I was showing a text message from a teacher that says that, without our platform, she would literally be marking papers throughout the weekend. So that has been very encouraging to know that it's really making an impact on their workload. On top of that as well, because currently as a lot of schools are home-based learning, so they have found that this has been a very good platform to keep the students engaged outside of the classroom, do their own tutoring, and yet be able to indirectly, in a way, give personalized feedback to them. So the student feedback has been encouraging as well. We're still doing some action research with some of the schools we're engaging with, but initial results have shown that students also perform better when they use the platform.
Thanks, William. Thanks, Yvonne. Over to you, Fatima.
Yes, Yvonne, thank you. Could you please just comment on scalability, because you mentioned it's high touch. So how are you looking at scaling it?
So currently we are fairly high touch because it's B2B, and so we are reaching out to each school and basically talking to them. But even in the near term, we're looking to really make it much more scalable. So we already recently just launched our UX 2.0, which really moves towards making it a self-service platform so that teachers can get on board, on their own. Through working with the schools closely during this time, we're actually looking also to understand better the teaching workflow so that we can become entrenched as part of the workflow. And kind of like now, you can't imagine life without email. Hopefully what we're aiming for is that the teachers can't imagine life without the Noodle Factory platform.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Thanks, Yvonne. And over to you, Daniel.
There we go. Just a quick question. How transferable is it to, I guess it's trained now on English language, I guess. How transferable is the engine to non-English speaking communities?
So currently it's trained on English, and that's why our immediate target market is on the high-cost English-speaking countries. But in the midterm, we are looking at the global expansion because the teacher workload problem is universal. So it is transferable. It just requires different data sets. So we're looking at partnerships with different education solution providers in the different countries so as to be able to build that data set quickly.
Excellent. And one last question over to you, Candina.
Hi, I love this. This is great. I'm so happy that you're supporting the well-being of teachers, which then helps the kids and adults. So thank you. Just wondering, in terms of the scalability question with partnerships, have you been working with others that can help you actually access schools as well as the platform?
Yes, definitely. Because one thing that we always, when we work with the schools, we tell them that we don't replace existing platforms. So we actually embed into things like LMS. We also work with channels like Microsoft Teams. So what we're looking for in terms of partnerships, we're also building API integration so that we can seamlessly integrate into existing learning management environments as well.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Candina. Thanks, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Now moving down to Hong Kong and Macau. You'd all have prevalent still in your mind, I'm sure, that Bangladeshi disaster back in 2013 when a retail facility actually fell to the ground and killed many, many people. And after this, the world has had this growing consciousness to issues in the fast fashion supply chains, of which 1/3 today is wasted into landfill. I'm so pleased to welcome to the stage Meridian from No Global, representing Hong Kong and Macau with their real-time, transparent data platform for brands, factories, and their workers. Over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Marianne, the founder and CEO of No Global. Our vision is to humanize the supply chain. Why? Because factory scandals still happen all the time and cost the world's biggest brands millions of dollars every single time this happens. Which leaves us all with a question that we probably don't know the answer to, which is who made my clothes? I set out to find the answer to this question, ended up working in a factory in China, making over 2,000 trousers a day on the line with the workers. In summary, I discovered 3 key problems. Firstly, workers don't have a voice. Secondly, managers lack communication skills. And thirdly, brands and consumers don't have transparency. In addition to this, labor turnover is incredibly expensive and costs the average factory over $400,000 every year. Also, 80% of factory workers in the fashion industry are female, facing challenges such as sexual harassment, gender-based violence, and discrimination. We are No, and we connect brands, factories, and workers in real time using real-time transparent data. Our approach begins by building community in the factory with the workers for trust and dialogue. We then launch our mobile app, which allows for anonymous sharing and educational content for the workers. We also have a data analysis platform, which allows us to track the issues and improvements that are made. This means that finally workers have a voice, brands can reduce their risks, and factories can reduce the cost of labor turnover as well as boost their revenues. Our business model is B2B SaaS, meaning that brands will pay per factory per year and factories pay per worker per month. Our paying clients already include top 10 US and European brands, such as Target, Decathlon, and Marks & Spencer. The market growth for ESG data is currently exploding, and it's estimated that brands will be spending at least $58 billion by 2026 on this market. Workers, there are also a total of 1.75 billion across India, Vietnam, and Bangladesh, and 2.5 million factories in China alone. In terms of the market, we are filling a unique gap by providing real-time data, which allows brands to be preventative with their risks rather than reactive as they currently are with audits. We are also primarily profit-driven in a market that has a lot of philanthropic solutions, which are primarily NGO-based. In addition to myself, my friend Ernest is our head of operations. We studied together in university over 10 years ago and worked on a startup previously. We also have accounts teams in China, India, and Vietnam, and our advisors have combined experience in information technology and IT, as well as B2B sales.
Thank you so much, Marianne.
Oh,
sorry to wrap you up here, but we are going to have to move along, and I'd now like to hand it over to our esteemed judges. All right, first question of the day goes to Pratima.
Hi, thank you so much. You mentioned that you're going to be a for-profit company. What exactly, who buys the product finally? I was not clear.
Yeah, so brands pay to use the product for their factories. So they'll pay a subscription and pay per year for their factories to use this. And factories also pay per worker per month to use the platform too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And over to you, Pauline at UBS.
Hi, perhaps I'm not very familiar with the fashion industry, but could you explain to us, typically nowadays, the price of apparel is quite low, precisely because of all the statistics you showed us, right? Workers are overworked, and they're working in sweatshops with no welfare and benefit. But with this app, you're saying that at the end of the day, that it will result in cost saving. So how does that transform the industry from what it is today with the use of this app, how does that then make apparel? Because I would imagine that it's actually going to add to the cost. But how does it actually reduce the cost? Perhaps you can explain to us.
Yeah, so the cost saving on the factory side is in terms of the labor turnover. So as I mentioned, it costs factories a huge amount of money when workers are constantly leaving the factory or choosing other workplaces. A common misconception is that factory workers are choosing where to work primarily based on pay. And of course they are, but another major factor is the quality of relationships and the fact that they want to work with their friends in competing factories. So this is a way for factories to also convince workers that these are the best places to work and they can save the cost on labor turnover as a result.
Okay,
Excellent. Thank you, Pauline. And over to you, Candina.
Hi, I'm really happy that this is happening and helping these big brands in terms of moving forward their sustainability objectives. I understand that that's a huge value driver, so that's awesome. I'm really keen to understand, like, to what level of those sustainability commitments do you think your process will enable?
Yeah, so we plug a gap where currently the brands can find solutions with the environmental sustainability side of ESG, but there's really a complete lack of solutions on the social side to really track that social data. So we can actually help brands to track their impacts better, where they currently lack data on what their actual impact on the supply chain is. And we can also actually track whether their investments into CSR and ESG are actually paying off or not, because we now have access to this data over time and can measure the improvements.
Super important, thank you.
Thank you so much. And Chris, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, love the pitch. That was great product and service. Maybe you were going to get to it and we had to cut you short, but I'm curious as to like what kind of traction you had.
Yeah, the additional slide there was about funding. So we've raised 500,000 to date, and then we're looking to raise a further 1 million at the moment as well. And in terms of traction with clients, so yeah, we have Target, Decathlon, and Marks and Spencer's, some of our key clients right now. And then we've also got some direct factory clients as well in China, India, and Vietnam.
Thank you so much.
Didn't see that slide.
Thanks, Chris. And over to you, Jamila at P&G. Are you on mute, Pauline? Jamila, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now? Okay, yes. Thank you. Well, hi, Marianne, and thank you so much for this very much needed application and solution. Would I be right to say that it comes as a complement to existing audits, that it cannot be a replacement? Otherwise, how would you manage to have a holistic feedback on what's going on at factory level?
Yeah, we don't aim to replace the audit, which is, an expert going into the factory and verifying the situation, but we have actually partnered with one of the leading audit companies called SGS. And the way that we partner with them is that their auditors could check our data and reports either before visiting the factory or to track any improvements since the last audit. So we can actually provide an extra data layer for brands and an earlier warning on any risks than compared to an audit, which is just once a year. So we can provide an additional layer of data on top of an audit.
Thank you, Jamila. Thank you, Marianne. And without further ado, we'll wrap up here. Thank you for your excellent presentation, Marianne.
Thank you, everyone.
Now, I don't know about you, but this global pandemic has us all clutching for our fur babies. And even I have managed to add 2 turtles, 3 birds, and 2 gerbils to our house full of pets. I'd now like to take you down to Malaysia, where we have Petotum, who is responding to this global opportunity with their all-in-one platform for pet care. Over to you.
All right, thank you, Lisa, for the introduction. So hello, everyone. Let me share my screen.
Thanks, Afifa.
All right. Okay, I'm going to start. Hello, everyone. I'm Afifa. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Petotum from Malaysia. This is Leo. He was one of my rescued cats. He was diagnosed with cancer in March and passed away 3 months later. Back then, I can't find an app to help me to keep track of his condition. All documents are on paper. That is why we come up with Petotum mobile app to help pet owners like me to take care of their pets better. Petotum is an all-in-one platform for pet care, according to the guideline for responsible pet ownership by American Veterinary Medical Association. Pet owners need to ensure the pets are properly identified and their information is kept up to date. We are helping pet owners to keep track of their pets' documentation, which can be accessed at any time and anywhere. One of the pet owners that face the problem to keep up with documentation, such as medical records, medication, and follow-ups folio. Other than me, Petotum is helping more than 10,000 pet parents in Malaysia that own more than 10,000 pets in less than a year, and these numbers are growing every day. Did you know 1 in 3 Asians has at least one pet in their family? Pet care market is booming with the spike of pet ownership during the pandemic. Petotum is currently servicing the 1.9 billion key targeted markets in the pet ecosystem. We are able to expand to more than 1.3 billion additional key market segment by tapping into the underserved markets. The pet industry is left with a huge gap in terms of technological investment, especially in Southeast Asia. Most of pet care providers in Southeast Asia are relying on papers to manage their business. I, as one of the former pet hotel operators, knows the pain, and that is why we come up with our B2B solutions. We centralize the data for pet care businesses and practices. We are unique because we are the first industry-centric platform for pet care in Southeast Asia that covers pet parents, pet care businesses, and veterinary clinic with our all-in-one platform. Since we launched our B2B solutions, we have been receiving awesome feedbacks, and it's proven to help increase their sales by 100% within 30 days. On top of that, we're able to reduce the operational cost of at least $6,000 for each partner per year. We recently just launched our Petotum Vet platform for veterinarian, and we were able to secure 16 vets prior to our official launch. Within the next 2 years, Petotum is focusing to fill the gap in the underserved pet industry and bring it to the next level through digitization. We are raising funds for our seed round in order to accelerate our growth, to cope with the demand from the pet care industry, and of course, to grow big just like Grab. We are in this together with you at any stage of your pet's life, helping you to digitize your pet's record beyond vaccination card and pet passport. We are a team of dedicated pet lovers who are passionate about creating positive change in the pet industry. Pets are humanizing. They remind us that we have an obligation and responsibility to preserve, nurture, and care for all life. And that is why it is our responsibility to bring the underserved pet care industry in Southeast Asia to the next level. Thank you.
Thanks, Afifa. And you could just be that future Malaysian 40 billion SPAC. Who knows? I'm going to hand it over to Pauline Tay at UBS. Thank you, Pauline.
Hi, Afifa. Thank you so much. Just wanted my cat is very high. Anyway, I wanted to ask about similar question I asked previously on one of the other human medical concierge apps, right? So it sounds to me like, thanks very much for finally thinking about this very, very underserved market. I also had the experience when my previous pet had cancer, just like you, and there were no lab services in Singapore providing the testing for animals with cancer. There's lots of labs that do it for humans, but none for cancer. So my question is that, how are you partnering? Because at the end of the day, it still is just a concierge service, and you have to have partners like the vets and the service providers that will be able to give the pet owners those answers that they need. Yeah.
So thank you, Pauline, for your question. So for us in Petotum, pet community is a very close-knit industry. So what we do, we actually partners with all those prominent brands, and as well as those actually in the industry, like for example, those responsible breeders and shelters, and also all those pet hotels, because these people, they know who to work with, and they have close relationship with all the players in the industry. So one of the things that unique about Petotum, where it is not a concierge, we actually help both sides, the users and the businesses, to manage their documentation and all their information. So what we do is actually we help them to manage all their information, and we actually help them to manage their documents and their business documentation. So based on this, they actually are willing to refer us to other partners and other players. So that is how we grow big from day one. And the best part about Petotum is when we bring one business in our community, they actually refer us to other players such as all the laboratory in the UK and the US as well. And they actually want to look at growing the industry in Asia and as well in Southeast Asia. So this is actually one of the interesting market actually we look to, because compared to the US and also in the UK, here in Southeast Asia, this is one industry that we need help. So this is where we play our role to help the pet industry in Southeast Asia.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Pauline.
Thanks, Afifa. And I remember when the world was mobile, that I wasn't even eligible to be a pet owner of a goldfish. And the world is about to go mobile again. Do you see the demand of your services rapidly increasing?
Yes, actually. So we actually have seen a growth, and in fact, even our merchants have increased into 100%, and our merchant growth actually reached out maximum until now is 500% increase on month-to-month basis. So apart from that, for our merchants, we actually charging on the SaaS basis, so whereby they can actually opt to charge their customer, or they can bear the cost of our service fee, which is about 7%. And for the pet parents, they can also request for on-demand service on our platform through our mobile app.
Wonderful. And I wonder if you're leaving money on the table at only 7%, given that there are so few providers in your space. Big question. Candina, over to you.
Hi, thank you for looking after our fur babies. They're also very important, so that's amazing. I was just wondering, what would stop you from going outside of Southeast Asia?
So thank you for your question, Candina. So actually, in Petotum, we are ready to grow big from day one. We in fact have received interest from Indonesia, from Brazil, and from UK, and we just had a conversation with one of our potential partners in the UK to provide another type of service for pet, which is dog training. So we've seen that what we are doing is actually in Malaysia is a personalized service that we're looking at to help this pet industry to grow big, because when we have all the information for the pet, for example, their food, their health, their insurance details, we can actually grow more on that, and we can actually explore a lot of opportunity and also partnership in the future.
Great to hear. Thank you.
Thanks, Candina. And one last question from the floor. Over to you, Jamila.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Hello, Afifa. A question. I mean, was there like any feedback you heard from your business partners that like from the clinics and so on that you've turned and implemented?
So currently in Petotum, how we grow our community is actually based on your feedback for both of our B2B and B2C products. So for our solution for business, we actually receive constant feedbacks from them, and from there we actually improve. In fact, we in Petotum, we improve our business solution once every 2 weeks. So we release new feature, we do new updates based on the feedback. So the people in our industry, in pet industry, especially on the business and the pet parents, they would like to see this industry to grow, especially in Southeast Asia. So that is our role to help them. Thank you so much for your question.
Thanks, Candina. Thanks, Afifa. And now, without further ado, we're going to travel all the way back to the UK. Now, I don't know if you know, but people don't all hear or communicate the same. Some people listen, some people see, some people actually need to read the information. And one of the biggest challenges in this global pandemic is as we move out of our logic brain to the reptilian brain in times of fight or flight, we actually lose our sense of hearing at least 50%. And so how can we change this paradigm? I'd like to introduce you to Rachel at Cardmedic, who's introduced a mobile application-based SaaS platform that assists communication between healthcare staff and their patients. Over to you, Rachel. I'm delighted to have you here with us today at She Loves Tech.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll just do my screen share. And can you see that full screen?
Perfect.
Thank you so much. So I just start whenever.
Please.
So our mission is to make healthcare information understandable to everyone. I'm Dr. Rachel Grimaldi, co-founder and CEO. Can you imagine going to hospital and not understanding the staff? This is reality for nearly 50% of the world's population who struggle to communicate due to foreign language, deafness, blindness, learning disabilities, cognitive problems, or illiteracy. 30% of medical litigation is due to poor communication. 69% of staff struggle to communicate with patients, and 89% feel current service provision is poor. Together, this costs healthcare systems in the US and UK alone more than $1 billion in a year. As an NHS anaesthetist for 12 years, I really understand these challenges. These underserved patients face huge health inequities, poor health literacy, and are at much high risk of getting sick or dying. Its existing solutions are not cost-effective and instantly available. Staff therefore rely on patients' friends, family, other staff, or machine translation to communicate. We built Cardmedic to disrupt and radically improve communication between clinicians and patients. Cardmedic is a multi-award-winning and completely innovative app-based platform that hosts an A to Z library of pre-written scripts replicating common clinical conversations. Staff can display the script in different languages, sign language videos, pictures, or read aloud. This enables vital information to be explained to or collected from patients safely and efficiently. Patient confidence and understanding healthcare staff increased to 95% when Cardmedic was used. Cardmedic is difficult to replicate as it's based on hundreds of years of clinical experience of healthcare staff. Our translation management system is novel, our content copyrighted and trademarked, we have first mover advantage and will be integrating with electronic health records. Our team are totally at home in high growth digital health tech. My co-founder has grown a multi-million-dollar global e-commerce business, and the team has over 125 years combined experience delivering healthcare, building and selling enterprise health tech solutions, finance, marketing, scaling, and exiting. Our advisors include Fortune 100 and 500 companies, Allscripts, GlaxoSmithKline, Ministry of Defense, and World Health Organization. And we are all passionate about making a positive social impact globally and are already working with Kenyan refugees. The TAM for US and UK healthcare alone is over $1 billion, and the global translation spend is nearly $70 billion. Cardmedic is well positioned to become the global leading digitally enabled communication assistant across all industries. As an annual subscription platform, we're revenue generating with strong sales and pipelines into UK and US healthcare systems. With strategic partnerships, our path to scaling, including with Cerner, Allscripts, Walgreens, and more. We've had 55,000 users in 120 countries and 22 app downloads since last April, winning international press coverage, UK government recognition, grant funding, and $500,000 angel investment. We're part of the NHS Clinical Entrepreneur Programme, Mass Challenge Accelerator winners, and have won many awards, including from the Prime Minister, and are part of the UK government's Digital Health Top 100 Playbook. We're currently fundraising $2 million to accelerate US expansion, reach 1,500 licenses, and build our EHR integration. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Rachel. And I understand you've just touched down, so thank you for joining us live from the airport. I love your stamina. I'm now going to hand it over to our esteemed judges. William, over to you.
Thank you so much. Sorry for this background noise. I'm in a lounge. Apologies.
That's okay. Now, just a quick question. So is it all pre-scripted, or do you have the option to pull in, automatic translation or a live translator, or how does it work? Yeah,
that's a really good question. So it's as you said, library of pre-written scripts, but we also have an integrated chat tool, which is live machine translation to allow for two-way communication. There are other ways in which we enable two-way communication, like communication boards where patients can point to pictures. We're creating a library of sign language videos, like a GIF library as well for that two-way communication. We also try to ask the questions mostly yes or no as well to keep that communication simple. But in our roadmap is the ability. We have a card on the site which asks the patients would they like a live interpreter, would to be as a strategic partnership, then integrating with a live interpretation service as well. What we don't want to do is reinvent an existing wheel, but just to kind of have strategic partnerships in those spaces. I hope that helps.
Thank you, William. And Rachel, I live downtown here in Luxembourg, where there is 190 nationalities. So I imagine your charter in Europe will be most interesting. I'm going to hand over to you, Candina.
Thank you so much for doing this from an airport. So,
no worries. Sorry, it's a bit of a mad rush, but I'm so glad I got here in time.
It's so impressive what you've done. I imagine it would have taken a lot of effort and a lot of data collection. Do you see this being able to scale into other areas as well? Like you mentioned, like quite a few already in the public sector, but other areas that you're looking into?
Yeah, definitely. So absolutely. Healthcare is very much our focus at the moment. That's our beachhead. And UK is obviously what we know. That's where I'm based. But US, we're already planning into the US. So healthcare any healthcare setting. Could be a hospital. We're working with air ambulances, ambulance service, GP practice, pharmacy, etc. But it's totally scalable, or the ability to pivot into other spaces is really eminently straightforward. It's just a matter of having the right travel. Ironically enough, being a perfectly appropriate, perfect one. Finance sector, justice. We're speaking to the Ministry of Defence in the UK as well. So that, yes, there are so many different sectors that this could go into, which is so exciting about it. Thank you. Thank you. That's a great question.
Thank you. I love how accurate it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just while we wait for another question, Rachel, can you tell us how it's used in times of crisis?
Yes, definitely. So it really comes into its own in those urgent and emergent settings where it's really difficult to organise a translator. It's hard enough electively, but urgent and it's even more challenging. So it really does come into its own. Imagine someone coming into the ER or the pain, or being flown from the roadside in a helicopter to a hospital, and you can't get a translator there. You just bring it up on your mobile, tablet, desktop, show the patient the screen, and then you can flex it to sign language videos or different languages or with pictures, etc.
Fantastic. And Pauline, thanks for asking a question. Over to you at UBS.
Just a very simple question. Do you have any competitors? Because there are a lot of these sorts of translation software, health apps. What is your differentiating factor, and who are your main competitors?
So interestingly, we don't have any direct competitors. No one's doing what we're doing. So we don't just have the translation side, but we've got the pre-written scripts. It's also the sign language videos. So we take those scripts and you can flex them into sign language videos, into easy read with pictures, to read aloud, so you can listen to the information. The integrated chat tool, people will be able to add their own bespoke content down the line, and we're integrating with EHRs in our roadmap. So yeah, there's kind of lots about us. Sorry, really quick answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And time for one more question. Over to you, Jamila.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
One quick question. What made you start this business?
That's a great question. So I was actually on maternity leave last year, stuck abroad during COVID, unable to get home to help, but was really desperate. And I read a news article about a patient who'd been to the ICU with COVID and was terrified because he couldn't understand healthcare stuff through PPE. So I thought people must be writing notes on paper, which they were. I spoke to colleagues and friends all across the UK, and I thought, well, if I made those notes digital and I just put them on a website, a really simple A to Z list, then the staff could choose the note, show it to the patient. We launched within 2 hours. Within 3 weeks, we had 8,000 users in 50 countries, then got a load of media coverage, had masses of feedback from around the world from staff and patients saying, please, can we have this as a tool to stay? And then it went from there with the accelerators and the investment and the grant funding. And yeah, so that was kind of the inspiration behind it. There are so many long-standing barriers to good communication in healthcare. COVID just right on it, really.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rachel. And thank you to the judges for your questions. Now we're going to head down to China, where we are truly facing a healthcare crisis. By 2050, 4 in every 10 people will be over the age of 65. And in the last 7 years of our lives, unhealthy. Insurers around the world are grappling with the challenges around chronic disease management. Everybody wants to improve patient outcomes, save lives, reduce the number of days hospitalization, over-hospitalization and re-hospitalization, and push transparency back into those non-digital ecosystems. I'm going to hand over now to Jing at Meridian in China, who's delivering a medical AI service platform which provides intelligent service systems and solutions for us all. Over to you. Thank you, Jing. And you're live. Can you hear us okay? Yeah. Okay, perfect. The floor is yours.
Lisa, I think you're muted.
Sorry, Xingxing, you are also muted and we don't see you. So if you don't mind to turn on your video and your mic and you can go live again, we'll start the clock again. Thank you. If you don't mind just to turn on your video and your sound. I think we have an audio problem. We can see a video just fine. Your screen is perfect before, if you can just put it back on main screen, but we actually can't see your video. We don't see you. And you just need to put yourself back on presentation mode. Perfect. And if you can turn on your video live and your sound. I think, Xingxing, you have a very bad connection. We're going to move to the next participant and come back to you. Thank you so much. All right, and without further ado, we're going to head down to my hometown in Australia. And we're going to talk to Jessica from Neighborlytics, who's providing a data analytics platform to study insights about human behavior and activity in our neighborhoods. Jessica, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just give me a moment. All right, does that look right?
It looks perfect.
Great, thank you.
Can you hear me now? Oh, sorry.
Yes, Xingxing, and I'll get back to you after this one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess.
Imagine a place that you love to spend time. That could be a local park, a cafe, or a fresh food market. These places that we love and feel connected to are important to our lives. I've been an urban designer working in the property sector across the world for more than 20 years, and I realized really early in my career that city making is letting us down. We are fatter, sicker, and lonelier than ever, and it's because of the places that we live. Excuse me. One of the challenges that the property sector has is that they only have access to data about the physical environment, like building heights and traffic, and not the human side, the behavior, the lifestyle, and how cities are experienced. And getting it wrong hurts their bottom line. But neighbourhoods with great urban life can sell or lease more quickly, retain tenants for longer, and also more effectively meet their ESG measures. Neighborlytics fills this human data gap by tapping into unconventional digital data to measure and track the urban life of neighborhoods. Our game-changing technology provides interactive urban life scorecards for any neighborhood in the world on demand. And while our competitors are manual or rely on sentiment and opinion, we are fully automated and provide unique behavioural data. Customers like Lendlease and Fraser's Property subscribe to Neighborlytics to attract the best tenants to their retail centres, to identify risk across their portfolio, or to demonstrate the ROI on their assets. And the opportunity is huge. The property sector alone is the largest industry in Australia and in the US, and we already have users in other immediate parallel verticals such as retail and tourism. And we have the team to execute on this opportunity with scale-up experience across our leadership team as well as our advisors. And before Neighborlytics, my co-founder and I previously created and scaled a disruptive business together, so we're no strangers to an ambitious challenge. We have proven the value of our unique IP across the last 4 years, and we're now preparing for a Series A capital raise in early 2022. COVID created market urgency to understand neighbourhood lifestyle across the world. The raise will first provide us with sales resources to execute our land and expand strategy, enabling upwards of $100,000 recurring per customer. And second, enable further analytics development for a deeper and stickier product over time. Our customers can easily start with a basic subscription, then quickly share across multiple assets, then flip up into an enterprise or access their whole portfolio view. This hooking the industry business model is already proven in Australia, and we're already piloting it in Asia. Since we began 4 years ago, we've been growing 200% year on year. And with the Series A funding accelerating our existing automation, we're projecting up to about 300% growth year on year moving forward. By 2050, 70% of the global population will live in cities, and Neighborlytics will lead the global property sector in getting them right. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jess. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know, but from a venture capital perspective, Australia is actually known as an emerging market. Getting access to capital as a woman is so difficult. And I have to say that venture debt at this moment is mafia rates at more than 30%. So please listen deeply to Jess. I'm going to hand it over to you, William Balbeen at SOSV.
Hey, great, thanks. So are your customers mostly the developers or the owners, or is it a bit of a mix? And then what is the number one reason that they buy your product? Like what gets them over the line?
Yeah, so the buyers are the real estate asset owners, so REITs. So they're either doing developers or they own the asset themselves, and the users are the development managers typically, or the leasing and sales agents. And the number one reason they buy it at the moment is because no one has a clue what is actually happening lifestyle-wise in their local neighbourhoods. So they used to think they understood the community by looking at some demographic data and assuming things about the community. But what COVID has done globally is change the way that everybody lives. We now don't commute into work every day. We are accessing a hyper-local lifestyle like we never have before. And people are curating their lives to have an experience that they weren't doing previously when they were leaving every day to go into an office somewhere else. And property developers don't know how to understand that anymore. So there's quite a lot of urgency right now when they're trying to understand what's our retail centre going to look like now that people are used to buying online. What do our communities look like now that people don't leave them during the day to go to work? And so that's the urgency, so that they can lease them better and sell them better and also attract the best tenants.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jess. And thanks, William. Over to you, Fatima at Microsoft.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you for your presentation. How do you deal with the privacy concerns, Jessica? Is there anything by country?
Privacy?
Yes.
Is that the question? Yes. Sorry, my internet connection's a bit unstable, so it's dropping out. So we actually don't use any data that's personally sensitive at all. So although we tap into social media and crowdsourced map platforms, we're looking at the knowledge that's left behind about the places that are there, not who has left the data. So we don't care. We're not looking at the demographics or the social listening of who said what. We're just looking at the fact that in this particular neighborhood, people are saying that they love the family-friendly park, they're picnicking in the park, they love the waterfront, they love nature, and on aggregate, that herd behaviour across neighbourhoods, we turn that into the data about the neighbourhoods. So even though we're using all this real-time data, it's not sensitive at all, and in fact, you know, there isn't even a risk of a security breach, if you like, with our data set, because it's not personally identifiable, which means that our users can use it much more easily than they might use transaction data or even survey data, which might be some of the other types of things they access.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Fatima. Over to you, Jamila. You're just on mute. Catch cry of the pandemic. All right, I might move over to you, Mei Tong at Tasia Ventures.
Yeah.
Oh, we got you back, Jamila.
Oh,
there
sorry.
we go.
I couldn't unmute. I don't know what happened, but hi, Jessica, and thank you so much for your presentation. I would say, like, besides funding, what is the number one challenge or the number one intervention you're working on right now?
So it's about how to provide the additional support to teach users how to use our platform. So we're a very complex data tool, and our users are not data buyers. They're the marketing team or the leasing team, and our major competitors are actually consultants that they might hire to give them an opinion. And so where they want to do it themselves, they want to learn themselves. So a lot of what we spend our time and energy on is just having a complex data platform is not what they want to log in and see. So we have to have a blend of always improving the UI of our platform itself. So a real focus on what they see as soon as they log in. So the exact right, most potent insights are up front for that person when they log in. So we're always looking at that, but also what's the lightest, leanest, most effective customer training we can provide, because there is a certain appetite for them to learn more about urban life and learn why they should do their work differently. So we're also always looking at that too.
Thank you. And over to you, Mei Tong. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I would like to know your product, how much time you need to spend to enable your client to understand how to use your product, and how that's going to consider to be a go-to-market challenge for you? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, really good question and very related to the answer I just gave. Certainly, the product that we have now is very different to what we had 4 years ago. 4 years ago, we tried to put as many graphs as we could fit into a page and give that to them. And they were excited initially, but said, great, I don't know how to read graphs. So now what we do is, we have this focus on leasing and sales agents, for example. And so when they log into the platform, they see the scorecard that leasing and sales agents need. So we want them to be able to see some killer insights as soon as they log in without having to learn anything. Now, that's so that they get hooked and start to get a bit of a habit of checking, but they're not going to stay with us long term if they just see the same sort of stuff every time. So there's a BI system that sits below that we then train them to use. But we have many secondary users.
Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
We just have to wrap you up there. But thank you so much for answering the question. And judges, I encourage you to ask questions in our chat. Thank you so much, Jess. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head back to China, to Jingjing, who is working on changing the paradigm of healthcare. Jingjing, the floor is yours.
Can you see me now? My apologies for the connection. Okay, perfect. Hi, judges and everyone. I'm Jingjing of Meridian Medical Network. We built a health AI system empowering family doctors and families. There are two major pinpoints of Chinese healthcare system. We don't have a qualified primary care system in place, yet we have 450 million chronic disease patients and fast-growing elderly population. Secondly, we have a special system that actually good doctors are located in 10% of the cities where 90% good doctors live. So 10 years ago, I came back to China with my background doing cross-border collaboration in healthcare investment in Silicon Valley, Europe, and China with Dr. John Liu, the former engineering director and principal architect of AT&T, serial entrepreneur in Silicon Valley with the AI team to work with Chinese Ministry of Health, Chinese CDC, Chinese Doctors Board, process over 100 million people data, working with 700 leading hospitals. Our disruptive core technology consists of two parts. One is the 1,000 diseases clinical support system, a knowledge graph, and as baseline, and use our big data to do the calibration, machine learning, and disease predictive modeling. We gave the primary care doctors the AI system, and then the families an app, wellness care AI system, and then provide an app for a special doctor. So what we call is a disease CDSS with integrated data, primary care, home self-care, and special care data. So we give the systems to primary care doctors, enable, enhancing their capabilities and productivity for families, enabling proactive health. And our business model basically is for giving to the clinics, insurance company, elderly care homes, and also we have, because of big data, we could create e-commerce healthcare products for family sharing revenues with our partners. We are the first in China to provide AI primary care system. And so as first mover, past 4 years, we deploy over 2,000 medical institutions and serving about 10 million people. Now, luckily and very fortunately, in the last 2 weeks, we got 2 major contracts with regional and partnerships. So expect to have serving over 200 million people and in 2 years. In 80s, Bill Gates has visioned everyone will have personal computer. And our vision 10 years ago is every family in China will have AI health keeper, making health and wellness universal affordable through technologies. And we are doing this. We got many awards in China and globally, including the far left, far right is the WHO and World Bank Healthcare team in reviewing our projects, UN partnership awards, and the great country, Women's First Innovation Award, and also as a China example awarded by the Ministry and State Council of China as an example for in the past 4 years reform. So we think this application is globally applicable and hopefully to do good and to do well. And thank you all.
Thank you so much, Xingjing. Fantastic presentation. I'm going to hand it over to our judges, and we're going to start with Jessica at Swire. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. Thank you, Jingjing, for the presentation. I think this topic is very important in nowadays China. So just want to ask you a question, because the AI techniques require the patient to be equipped quite well in order to do the consultant online. And as you know, in the big cities in the eastern part of the China, so maybe this can be adopted quickly. But I think why you develop this is also you want to benefit the western part people. So do you have any special measurement to help them to use this better? Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Actually, we started in the rural areas. That's where the we did deploy the first 7 provinces and started, because we did it through a pad. It's very simple. In the AI, you just click, it's like a virtual doctor, the AI's doctor assistant for primary care doctors. A lot of clinic doctors are over 60 years old, right? And they cannot even handle smartphone, but with a pad, it's very simple. They could just click, and then you provide them with the questions and how to ask the question, and provides actually the clinical support system, the result. So very easy. That's why we won the National Rural Revitalization Award for that. And this year is China's like a common prosperity, healthy China initiative with a good timing. We actually, with big contracts from several provinces, very, very fortunate. I think we are going to create this system, and with our big data engine, I think that engine will, the 3 tri-clouds would service not just China. I think would be also, when our WHO team, World Healthcare team came to see it, they said this is what should be done with home self-care with the AI. The AI is in the back engine is very complicated, but in your user is very simple, right? So for home care AI app, primary care, and pad, easy to use, easier than a smartphone, and that's what's exciting us.
Yes, thank you. So wish you success. It will help a lot to save to shorten the queue in the big hospitals. Thank you.
Yes,
absolutely. And I understand people can wait up to 5 hours to see a doctor for only 15 minutes. It sounds crazy in these times. Can I ask, how are you working with insurers today, Xingjing?
Yes, in China, insurance couldn't reach out to, don't have data. So they really need data. So what we have the home generated data and primary care data integrated with specialty data in one. So we are the best partners to insurance that to help them to create good products for the families. So we're working with top 5 biggest insurance companies right now.
Fantastic. And I'll hand it back over to our judges. Any last questions from the floor? I've got one last one for you. Can you tell me, in the context of smart contracts, have you headed down that road?
Smart contracts?
Yes, for reimbursement with governments or insurers.
Yes. Actually, we are working on both right now with commercial insurance, right? Which give the supplement, a supplemental, payments system for families. And Chinese government insurance actually is universal health. It's on the baseline in the payment system. So these two actually needs big data. With 70% of Chinese government insurance payment goes to chronic disease. So we are attacking chronic disease. The government is very happy. That's why we won the national government's top award as a China example in the 40 years reform, because they really need that.
Thank you. And over to you, Daniel, one last question.
Yes, a general question, but would be interesting. What's your take on the competitive landscape and how you position yourself, given the big Chinese tech is all very aggressively expanding in this area?
Very good question, Daniel. There are two group of people. One is doing on the disease-specific, AI system. One is doing the internet health. Basically, is connection between patient and doctors, but they don't have AI empower, a big data driven. So we are like a 3-in-1. We call it like tri-cloud, like family generated home care data, and then an AI empower, and family doctors AI empower, and specialists either AI empower. So very unique system, which I think is what eventually you have a personal integrated health data for from family doctors, from yourself, and also from specialists. This is what globally we were.
Sorry, Jing, I have to cut you off there, but judges, if you have more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And with further ado, we've had some outstanding presentations today, I'm sure you will agree. And we're going to move to the final presentation of the She Loves Tech Global 2021 competition. I'm going to move now to 3D, Re3D in North America, who's tackling the challenge of the circular economy.
Good morning or good evening, whatever it is. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we sure can.
So I have a question for you. What if this water bottle could be transformed into a smart pallet for factories that can't access wood during COVID? Or better yet, what if the waste directly produced by those manufacturers could be repurposed internally to make supplies to reduce inventory holding and to reduce downtime? These are two real-world examples that our customers and community are working on as we speak. Hi, I'm Samantha, and at Re3D, we're working to decimate cost and skill barriers to 3D printing. See, if you go to buy a 3D printer, this is the landscape on the plastic side. You have a desktop printer, which is great, but you can only make things you can hold in your hand. So when you want to make things at the industrial or the human scale size, it's cost prohibitive. It's $100K or more with the services. This leaves a $37 billion market opportunity that's anticipated to quadruple in the next 3 years due to COVID. Enter Gigabot. This is our flagship technology that is the world's first affordable large-scale industrial 3D printer that's 30 times the size of the industrial or the desktop 3D printers, but it's a fraction of the cost, starting at $10,000 or less. Gigabot is sold along a whole host of services that enable factories worldwide to test materials, designs, and prints prior to establishing printers on their factory floor. They are supported by a whole host of factories and services and maintenance plans. We were honored to be started with 40K equity we received from Startup Chile, and we launched Gigabot on Startup and Kickstarter. No pun intended, we were funded in 1 day because the response was huge. We were honored to receive over $250,000 from 23 countries worldwide that allowed us to scale. We now have 3 offices, and we're so honored to support a community globally that's in over 50 countries worldwide. These customers are opening up new markets worldwide that are scaling their operations using Gigabot. Our founding team of NASA engineers and scientists and creatives has grown to a team of experts with over 100 years of manufacturing expertise, coupled by 2 advisors from Silicon Valley. After exiting my first company, I was privileged to recruit this team that's now honored to share its She Loves Tech, our ultimate vision, and that's to 3D print from garbage. You see, less than 10% of garbage worldwide is recycled. This is taken from outside of our office in Puerto Rico, and it's the same as where you see today. We want to give that trash a home. By allowing Gigabot to directly print from trash, we can unlock new opportunities worldwide, and we're making that happen. This is a reality. Now, during COVID, we've been honored to distribute this across 6 countries worldwide, and we're looking to scale. Our customers are demanding this, and these are just a few of the brands. So we're looking to you, She Loves Tech, to give us feedback as we continue to scale and truly enable sustainable and locally driven manufacturing. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. And I'd now like to hand over to our esteemed judges, Candina.
Hi, I love this. This is amazing that you're doing this with waste. So great to hear it, and also the support you're getting I know you showed some of the logos, and that's amazing. What are some of the examples of what they're, if it's not confidential, of some of the things that they're manufacturing, and what is the scope and scale that you see in terms of what you could actually, what you could actually do with this?
Candida, thank you so much for your support. I'm really honored that you have been so supportive of all the companies. I get countries and companies confused in my mind with this program, but worldwide. Yeah, so I mean, this is just a minor example. This is a little bit controversial. Maybe this will not serve us well, but this is a company in Puerto Rico that is manufacturing coral. During hurricanes Irma, Maria, a lot of the coral was decimated in Puerto Rico. So they're actively looking at ways to reconstitute polyps to encourage that worldwide. I would say, however, for the other judges on this panel that maybe have some thoughts about that, I think a lot of the opportunities, and particularly in 3D printing from waste, which is only a minor example of what we do worldwide, is around making the non-sexy stuff. What we're hearing from companies, Katina, to your point, that have an NDA right now, is they're under a pressure cooker. So whether it's NASA Stennis is on lockdown, or Lorraine in France, or even our companies in the Philippines, they're looking to make very non-sexy stuff that can truly enable them to manufacture on demand during COVID. We've actually seen our pipeline, it's increased by 6 times just in the last 6 months, especially with end of year funding, because companies see the opportunity from both virgin and recycled materials with our platform.
Amazing, congratulations.
Now, I heard a really scary story, Samantha, that we swallow 5 grams of microplastics a week. Really exciting to have your technology among us. Pauline Tay at UBS, the floor is yours.
Hi, Sam. Thanks very much. So for UBS, sustainability and upcycling is a really, really important, very big thing. Many of our clients, many of our investors are actually very interested in this field. I think you're not a startup. You're quite a mature company. So I took note that you're here on this platform, She Loves Tech, to get feedback. Probably less so raising funds, but this is actually a very, very important area going forward, particularly in many developing countries. So it sounds sort of like a practical to just take waste and remanufacture it. But what is your company's take on purification of the waste before you convert that into the building blocks to remanufacture and re-3D print? Because many countries like Indonesia and India, they actually struggle with choosing the right kind of materials that they can actually recycle and upcycle.
Yeah, Pauline, I was really nervous to get a question from you, especially coming from the National Research Foundation in Singapore. But I'm so honored. I know we don't have a lot of time. I would love to chat offline. I would say, a lot of the research is in the compression screw, and we could probably nerd out on like the heater bands and how we do it. But we have been able to come up with a way to cope with many of the common forms of plastic. You may be touched to hear that during COVID, some of the biggest interest is from Southeast Asia, and particularly in the Philippines and Malaysia and beyond in this system. There's definitely a number of challenges. I think this is a long answer to say, I think our goal is to work with micro stakeholders, including yourself. We see ourselves as the OEM. We're one of the first people to print with flake. This is shredded up from water bottles. This thing is printed from your ID card that's actually made in Singapore from HID Global, as well as pelletized rPET from water bottles that you see here. But it really requires an ecosystem. How do you eat the elephant one bite at a time? But we're really honored right now during COVID to work with multiple ecosystems throughout the community. This has been really recent with COVID, and everyone's seeing an opportunity in this and having motivation to be more sustainable.
Thanks very much, Sam. Thanks for being so inspirational.
Absolutely. All right, and without further ado, I think we don't have any more time for questions, but I must say, Candina, as a responsible investor, I too felt your value proposition to be extremely compelling. Thanks for joining us today at She Loves Tech Global. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the last presentation of our global finals. Thank you so much to our audience who joined us here today. And thank you to our amazing founders who challenged not only their country, but the global stage and took us on a journey of their impact. You should all be unbelievably proud of yourselves, and we can't wait to follow your journeys and continued success as you move forward. Together, we are rallying behind these entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, to increase their propensity to go global right from the very start. And we encourage you to reach out and connect and engage and trade with them as they move forward. A huge thank you to our esteemed judges for joining us here today. We sincerely appreciate all your fantastic questions and, most importantly, your capital as these founders move forward. We'll be coming back with the winner announcement today at 5:40 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, with the list of who has made it through to the top 3 winners at She Loves Tech Global and the ADB Impact Award winner. In the meantime, I'd like you to stay tuned for the next session where some of our She Loves Tech alumni startups are going to come back and share with you the journeys that they've had since their She Loves Tech Global competition. I'm going to now hand it over to John. John, over to you.